Buongiorno. Good morning. Welcome. It's a great pleasure to be with you in the studio today where we're talking about Italy. As part of the e-commerce world review, it's a great pleasure to have in the studio today Ludo, who runs our research team, and Davide. And I'll let them introduce themselves in a moment. But as I gave away in the opening sentence, Italy is the topic of the day. We've just released our annual Italy e-commerce country report, and it's just a fascinating view of a market that, like every other market, has been disrupted by COVID, but we can see some really interesting aspects of growth, capability, and changing statistics. So that's up to the moment, and Ludo will take us through those. Now, if you have any questions, do put them in to the chat. We'll try and take them on board if we can during the conversation. But if they're really good ones and we can't answer them, we'll set the research pixies to work, get you an answer, and send that through later. Now, as usual, this is being recorded. And once we've finished, you will get a link to the recording as well, of course, as the deck. But don't be satisfied with just that. Make sure you download a copy of the report itself. It is stacked full of statistics, comparisons, analysis, right up to the minute, and it's available free of charge to all retailers. You're welcome. So that's it, really. Everyone knows the format by now. So let's jump straight to our lovely guests. Ludo, who will be taking us through the research, and Davide. Ludo, tell everyone first who you are and what you do.
Okay, thanks Ian for the opportunity to be here today. And my name is Ludovica. Ludo, it's easier sometimes. I'm research analyst at RetailX, conducting research on country and regional e-commerce reports, and of course, moderating and helping Ian in this e-commerce world review week.
Great. Well, look, it's lovely to have you in the studio, Ludo, and a great report. Thank you for that. Davide, lovely to welcome you to the studio for the first time. So tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yes, thanks for inviting me first. I'm Davide Garcia. I'm responsible in Tilium for the Italy and Greece country. I arrived from almost 20 years of experience in first in ad tech and martech now. And so I think that are two components that needed to go together to help clients to do better business in general, especially during this time, pandemic situation, and of course more in the future.
Great. Well, Dario, thank you for joining us. And before we dive in, not that I want you to speak for the whole of Italy, but in general, what is the mood now? How are people feeling about e-commerce? Confident, worried, turbulent? How would you summarize the state of the market at the moment?
But the state of the market is absolutely positive in general, because in general, you know that in the last 10 years, e-commerce in Italy is growing. And in any case, of course, the pandemic situation increased a lot the usage of the e-commerce site. So now we see that the clients is launching more and more possibilities, more sites, more functions on their e-commerce in order to answer to the demands from the market. So I see only positive things now that are happening. Of course, I mean, in general, the pandemic situation increased a lot the situation, but at the end, this is positive for Italy.
Great. Well, look, it's always good to start with a positive note. So let me now just move Ludo into the chairing position, and Ludo can pick up. take us through, Ludo, the highlights of the report, if you don't mind.
Okay, thanks, Ian. As you can see here, we have a general overview of the report. How is it looking like? Of course, today we cannot cover all the graphs and the statistics we have in the report, but we do our best to show you the Italian e-commerce market. First of all, as Ian and Davide mentioned already, Italy has hit hard by the pandemic. But as always, optimism rules in Italy. In 2021, a 4.5% growth in GDP is likely to be surpassed. As well, the e-commerce market can still grow significantly. Italy has a lower population compared to the EU and the euro area. And Davide, what are the main characteristics you see among consumers?
The main points on that, I think that is pretty clear also from the graph here, is that we have, let's say, an old population, over 65, and of course, you see that it's difficult for this kind of population to use technologies in general. Now Italy is moving versus digitalization in all the sectors, and from health, for example, if you don't have an email, it's difficult for the doctor to send you the receipt, for example. No, that's
Right.
a stupid example, but just to give you the idea that the population, especially over 60, over 75, probably is really impacted. And also the payment methods influence this kind of situation. Let's say that in Italy now the government is trying to push the usage of credit card, more a credit card than the cash flow. Uh, Italy, I mean, historically love more cash than credit, than on the credit card and different methods. So it's an hard path, but I think that we are on the right let's say way to move forward, and to increase, to have the benefits also, because people are scared now to use more cash because they think that they can have the COVID and all this kind of funny stuff, let's say, from my perspective.
Yes, that's right. We cover payment methods a bit later in our presentation as well, and so we're more than happy to hear your comments also there.
Yeah.
So if we move forward, as you were mentioning, older population has some difficulties using the internet, and in this case, we have a graph about frequency used by age group. So Italians have not embraced the internet as other EU citizens. Initial fears around security of online purchases hamper uptake. But of course, lockdown, home working, and e-learning have propelled online use and purchases on a rapid skyward trajectory. Italy's internet usage is still lagging around 8% behind EU. And as we see, the gap is most stark in the old age group. We conducted also some other research, and was interesting to include is that price and choice are still top of consumers' list of reasons to shop online. So since Davide, we mentioned security as an issue for older population to join the internet, what are some strategies that can help in this way in this situation?
But security means a lot of things that are happening, of course, in general, in all the software house, and us as Ethereum, it's the first of our let's say standard for our clients. We believe that giving security to, since we manage data, That's it's absolutely important that our clients needed to be absolutely sure that their data are managed in the right way. As of course, that this is happening on also on the consumer side. Consumers need to be sure that the data that they give to the brand are managed correctly. So this means that are used considering the consent that they give for this for this for the right user. So our technology allow in a very efficient way and very easy to manage, for example, in Europe, GDPR and the consent that the client that the users give, or maybe in US the CCPA and all the same in all the other region. That is very is I think is the base for to gain the trust of the clients, but for the clients the trust of the users. That today could be a problem for especially from the users that do not trust exactly sometimes the brands how the brands treats the data their data.
Okay. Okay. Something that we wanted to show as well are the indices, so the main e-commerce indices. Italy is doing it fairly good in all e-commerce indices compared to the performance. In the overall Internet Inclusivity Index, Italy ranks on the 14th rank. This index seeks to measure the extent to which the internet is not only accessible and affordable, but also relevant to everyone. The weakest Italian performance is unfortunately in the ease of doing business index. And as we can see, means that the regulatory environment is more conducive to the starting and operation of a local firm. And I think this is something we Italian can all relate on. But Davide, what do you think is the e-commerce market going in the future?
Okay, this is, I think we needed to spread a bit the discussion because, of course, the data, the numbers are not in our favor at this moment. But I think that in the future will be different. I hope so, at least. Basically, Italy is going with the recovery fund. With the recovery funds is going to take have a very good opportunity, probably the best from the historically they have. We are going to have 191 billions of euros from the from the European Union, and at least part half of these investments will be dedicated from the government to the digitalization. So that means many stuff. That means that especially the small and medium business companies, Italy is basically composed by many of these kind of business activity can jump forward finally to be more digital. More digital means to apply data strategy not only in of course for their communication but also internally for to do better business. And I see the opportunity for them that having an e-commerce that works, having the possibility to understand their customers, this can give them also the possibility to approach external countries and enlarge their opportunity to do business. Now the problem of Italy is that even if we have big important companies, they think too locally too much now. And I think the challenge of for them in the next few years, I think in the next 5 years, will be to enlarge the possibility to approach European countries, but of course other countries worldwide.
It's interesting, David, when I look at these numbers from outside, it's as if the market is ready to explode. So the logistics capability is there. The integrated approach to post and delivery is there. So soon as the Italian consumer really embraces digital and starts using it for all parts of their lives, it's accessible, reliable. It does indicate to me that there's a lot of growth that is just waiting to happen in the market as soon as the government and maybe corporate infrastructure catches up. So I read this in a very positive way. If I'm looking to invest in a company, then 10% growth in Italy looks like it's waiting to happen, whereas some other mature markets, you really have to fight for that because they're already well developed. So again, from an outside perspective, this looks like an exciting time of poised for growth.
Yes, Ian, you are perfectly right. I think if you compare in our history, we can, for example, we can compare this moment after, like in Italy after the Second World War, when Italy got the Piano Marshall revenue. That if we actualize the revenue that are going to take from European is almost the half compared what we are going to take now. So the opportunity is there is huge for Italy to do well finally. I hope so, at least. So I am very positive for this, and I see that we could have opportunity finally for digitalization, for e-commerce, for all the sector of the industry.
So continuing that positive theme.
Yeah, I'm very positive.
Okay, and as we already mentioned about payment methods and more use of electronic transactions. So we actually, as Davide mentioned already, saw that Italy had a long history of resistance to electronic transactions. But of course, lockdown saw a surge in people making non-cash payment in line with global trends. And when it comes to payment methods, Italians like variety, with card and e-wallets payment growing. Also, digital wallet payments are also increasingly used for buying goods online. PayPal is still probably the first one payment method chosen by consumers. And something that we have to take in mind is that when retailers design their online offering, will also be wise from them to take note that smartphones are the most popular device in Italy, which was really different from previous years. Here on the slide, we see the main drawbacks from mobile payments, even though a lot of people are already using it. And the first reason is because people use other payment methods, consider other payment methods, or consider mobile payment quite unsafe. So we still go back to the security issue. But Davide, on your point of view, like what are the main strategy to encourage the consumers to follow more of mobile payment rather than go back when the pandemic will be finished to cash?
But I think for first of all, it's a security, of course, giving them the possibility to be sure that the payment methods are absolutely comfortable, let's say safe to use. Of course, the government right now is doing a lot of push on the different methods, but I think also that in general the payment methods is something that the e-commerce should give them to the final user, give them a great variety to cover all the possibility from the consumer, because not all clients, has, for example, a credit card. Maybe some of them want to pay with a different method, more, let's say, more traditional. So the e-commerce needed to give them this possibility, because as you see from our population is pretty old in some cases. So if you want to involve them, you need to give them the possibility to pay. And I think at the end, it's a sort of, the payment methods will become a sort of commodity, like a technology in general, something that is in the back. I mean, it's something that you can pay without think that you are paying online, and you can be scared that your information has been stolen by someone. So it's something that can be natural, as now for us maybe is buying products on Amazon or another big e-commerce site. You don't think that your data can be stolen by someone. That should be for everyone and for all the e-commerce sites. That's I think it's the first to gain market share, and to have more people that buy, not only in pandemic situation, but in all the situations. Consider that, for example, one interesting thing that happened during the pandemic moment was the supermarket. Many people since cannot go to the supermarket, start to call the supermarket, and the supermarket is going to do the shops for them, and they pay when they receive the shops that they order. So that is a creative way to answer to a need.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and
I
I think
see Ian. Oh, you go first. Sorry.
no, I finish
Okay.
anyway.
I see Ian laughing when you mention that people call to the supermarket rather
Yeah,
than going to their website. But I think this is really Italian to have this approach, and to have uh this relationship with the retailer in a way. So having more this personal relationship rather than go on the
Yeah, and I think the
website.
having that flexibility as well, Ludo, is important, because
Yes.
what we saw with the pandemic is that the optimized, automated ways of doing business just stopped, and so people had to come up with something else. And so I think what's been interesting is to see that combination of human beings breaking the rules, because there are no rules, systems that can support flexible activity, and then a sense of heart, of character, where the retailers try and do the right thing, even though there's no system, and even though things may not be perfect. And I think this is something that we'll be taking forward after the pandemic, is more trust for frontline staff, for the independent stores, for the branch manager, so they're not just part of the machine, they really are working with their customers to deliver for them. So, I'm smiling because it's a story we've seen across Europe, especially in grocery, where people prioritized feeding the citizens, not sticking to the automated systems. And I think that's been something that customers will remember as well. Anyway, that's why I was smiling. It's a very lovely
yeah.
story.
But you know why also you need to consider other two things. That one is, of course, that the technology was not ready, at least in Italy, means because the demand from the clients to buy online was really high, and the delivery was poor, because of course I try many times to buy online, but the delivery system was always fully booked. So you do not have any other choice to do like that. And in the
Yes.
second step, you see, as Ludo said, that it's really important that retail now in general, but for all the brands know very well the needs of their customers. That's why it's really important also technology to gather the information to answer to their needs. Because if they are able to answer, they are able also to provide a good customer experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we were talking earlier on about older people and the adoption of digital. Now, of course, I think I'm the oldest person here, so it's a bit sensitive. But one of the challenges of the pandemic is if you're saying to somebody who hasn't yet adopted e-commerce, so they've had 20 years to try e-commerce, but they aren't interested. So you then say to them, you've got to do it now. At the time, it is the worst possible experience. So would you like to go to a supermarket to get home delivery? Oh, you can't get a slot. You can't go onto the website. There's no product available. Trust me, this e-commerce is brilliant. So for those people who've been forced into it, it has been, I think, a challenging first experience. So again, these next few months of working with them to say it was great to welcome you to digital, but let's make sure you have a great experience. I think what we do now and for the rest of the year will determine whether we keep a lot of these new customers.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Ludo, we've just had a question in, which I'm happy to answer. We've had a very nice comment or two about the charts, which I wish I could take credit for. People asking if they can get copies of the charts. So just to say that all of the charts in the reports are available high resolution, and you're very welcome to use them under a Creative Commons license. The copyright details are in the report. So when you download the full report, just enjoy yourself with those charts. They are available. So just wanted to make that clear in case anyone else was wondering. Anyway, Ludo, back to you on our journey through Italy.
Okay. We have a section on our report about cross-border. And in fact, when it comes to cross-border e-commerce sales, the main trend showed an increase of 50% of e-commerce sales abroad in 2020. The main strategies of Italian e-commerce companies to sell abroad are multilingual websites, followed by selling on marketplaces. In our research, we found out that the countries with the highest presence of Italian companies abroad are France, Spain, Germany, and Italy. Davide, according to you about first-party data, how can cross-border help or not help in this case?
The first party data, are our, let's say, foundation. Tilium, let's say, started more than 10 years ago working on data because we are convinced that managing in the right way data for our clients is the key to win, to have a success in the market. It's like we see that in all the sector are affected and will be more affected from to implement a first party data strategy. It's like normally now in Italy we are in a situation where not all the brands still understand how is valuable having a first party data strategy, and especially have a customer data platform that can help them to organize, to orchestrate their data that now they work in silos. It's they are difficult sometimes to see the value because it's more easy when you arrive to enter in a shop and the shopper know you and already present you something that he knows that you like. Okay. And it's happening in the physical store because they know you. They normally the person know the customer, no? And that is something that should happen not only in the shop, but need to be happen on 360 degrees. And that is something that is part of the new, let's say, battlefield for the marketeers. That is the customer experience, the omni-channel customer experience, and you can do only, I think, with this, I mean, the technology. And we, of course, we help them to gather together all this information, to connect all the different sources, CRM, advertising, offline data together in order to create this single customer view of the user, and the possibility to use this information in in activation, in campaigns, and in general to communicate better with the user. So it's really important for the marketeers understand this topic. Now we have to do a lot of education, especially in some sectors, uh, while other sectors are more evolved, like for example banks, retails, and telco are already really in advance for this in general. But in Italy, as you know, we arrive later, so we are trying to educate the market right now.
Okay. And our last section is about COVID. So last October, the survey from l'Osservatorio Findomestic shared that 63% of respondents said that the volume of their purchases online has been as much as before pandemic, while 29% said that their purchases online have actually increased and only 8% that have decreased. Just to probably wrap up our webinar today, Davide, like what do we expect in the future, probably after COVID, if it is soon to be done, from the e-commerce market in Italy?
But yes, I think luckily this. I think it's since I am positive, I'm always positive. I think that this will be something that will remain, and of course will improve. Also because I think that the offer from the brands will increase. I think that more and more brands are trying also to be directly in contact with the customers. So avoiding let's say is someone in the middle, in order that they can talk directly with the final customer and understand better the need, and be sure that they provide the right customer experience. That is it's really key, I think, for the future in general of e-commerce, but especially for Italy. I see many brands that are approaching digital and are approaching e-commerce sites. Many Italian brands also, so not only let's say the big name in Italy, but also small and medium companies that are offering their products on e-commerce. Luckily, technology, for example, just also stupid example, but doing the right photo to the product, it's really important in order to show something that you cannot touch. And so it's really important also to give the right user experience on the site, not only on the shop. So it's important to gather all this information together, and we at Intilium are trying to do this, offering solutions, technology to cover these needs.
Wow. So, again, looking at the market, it is a very positive view of a market that is a sizable market, an affluent market with incredible brands and retailers. And it's as if the pieces are coming together just at the right time to emerge from the COVID pandemic and probably grow further from here. So it is a very positive overall view, I think. So Ludo, any concluding thoughts from you as we've covered a lot of ground. There's even more in the report. Are there any things you'd recommend people go to look at straight away, things you didn't have time to put in the report?
Yes, there are some graphs about sustainability, which is gaining more and more importance in Italy as well. And the consumer section tells you more about Italian consumers and what do they prefer actually. So I think that's interesting for everyone to read.
Lovely. And if you are interested in sustainability, we do have a webinar dedicated to that topic coming up in our e-commerce world review. So do check out the website on retailx.net for that. And we'll have the editor of our annual sustainability report looking across Europe and across sectors in advance of the September release of the report. Ludo, thank you so much. Our time is at an end. Fascinating insights. Davida, thank you for being a ray of positive sunshine in a market that, again, looks ready for its own growth, but also an interesting area for non-Italian retailers to look at for trading purposes. So a big thank you to Ludo and to Davida. Just a quick reminder that the full report is available to download here on RetailX. If you just look at Italy-2021, the clue is in the name. That is available for download. And do let us know what you're thinking about, because literally the research has started again, ready for 2022. So if there are topics you think we should be covering, or you're interested in featuring, maybe being a case study, telling us what you're doing, or asking any questions of us, drop us a note, research@retailx.net, and we'd be very happy to take that on board and build that into our ongoing research programme. But for now, our time is at an end, so thank you again to Ludo and to Davida, and of course, thank you to all of you who've given us your time today. We hope you found that useful. We look forward to speaking with you again soon, and in the meantime, here's hoping you all have happy and successful trading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.